Everyone knows Napoleon Bonaparte as a brilliant commander, but very few realize how close he came to being completely trapped and forgotten in the sands of Egypt. In May of 1798, around 40,000 French soldiers gather in the Mediterranean port of Toulon. There is tension in the air. Ships are loaded, officers whisper. But here's the strange part. Almost no one knows where they're going. Some believe they're about to challenge the British fleet, led by Horatio Nelson. Others are convinced this is the long-awaited invasion of England. But the numbers don't make sense. The army is too small for either mission. And then there's something even stranger. Alongside the soldiers, there are over 100 scientists, mathematicians, linguists, engineers. Not exactly what you bring to a battlefield, unless this isn't just a war. Whatever the destination is, one thing is certain. Napoleon himself is leading the expedition. At just 28 years old, he is already a rising star. Ruthless, brilliant, dangerously ambitious. He helped crush a rebellion in 1795 and dominated campaigns in Italy. The French government doesn't fully trust him, and honestly, they have a reason. Sending him far away from Paris solves a problem. And for Napoleon, it's an opportunity. Of course, invading England would be the ultimate prize. Britain is still standing, still resisting, still dangerous. But Napoleon knows the risk is too high. So instead, he proposes something unexpected. Egypt. Officially, the mission is framed as liberation, bringing the ideals of the French Revolution to a backward land. Freedom, rights, progress. But the real plan goes deeper. Control Egypt, and you weaken Britain's connection to the East. Disrupt trade, threaten routes to India, maybe even open a path to invade it by land. If it works, it changes everything. And if it fails, well, that part isn't discussed. There's also something more emotional driving this expedition. Egypt isn't just a place. It's myth, it's history, the cradle of civilization, a land of pyramids, lost knowledge, and unreadable language. For Napoleon and his officers, this isn't just strategy, it's legacy. They compare themselves to Alexander the Great, to Caesar, to conquerors of the past. They imagine glory, romance, and immortality. Some even joke about becoming the next Mark Antony, finding their own Cleopatra. It sounds ridiculous, but they believe it, because believing makes the fear easier to ignore. And fear is everywhere. From the very beginning, the British fleet is hunting them. The first stop is Malta, a heavily fortified island controlled by ancient knights. It falls quickly, almost too easily. A strategic victory, but also a warning. Things are moving fast. By July 1st, the French approach Alexandria. Napoleon prepares his troops carefully. He reminds them this is not just any city. It was founded by Alexander himself. History matters here. At night, around 4,000 French soldiers attack the city. On the other side, only a few hundred defenders with outdated weapons. The battle is short. By morning, the French are inside. And then something unexpected happens. Disappointment. This doesn't look like the legendary Alexandria. Where are the grand temples, the palaces, the wonders of the ancient world? Instead, they see ruins, broken monuments, stones reused in ordinary buildings. Ancient artifacts treated like everyday objects. It shocks them, but the truth is simple. Time doesn't preserve legends, it erases them. Over 2,000 years, Alexandria has changed. Trade routes shifted, the Nile moved. Empires rose and fell. What remained is reality rarely matches imagination. Still, the mission continues. The French unload weapons, supplies, even scientific equipment. They bring a printing press, one of the few capable of producing Arabic text. Napoleon immediately starts spreading messages. He claims he is a friend of Islam, a liberator, a defender of the people. But there's a problem. The translations are terrible. The language is confusing. The ideas are unfamiliar. In some cases, the text accidentally suggests that the French themselves are Muslims. Not exactly the intended message. Meanwhile, something dangerous is happening behind the scenes. The British fleet almost found them. In fact, they were in Alexandria just one day before the French arrived. They missed each other. Barely. That means time is running out. Napoleon knows he has to move fast. The plan is bold and risky. Part of the army will move through the desert toward Cairo. Another force will travel along the Nile. They will meet, combine, and take the capital. Simple on paper, brutal in reality, because this is Egypt in July. The heat is unbearable. Soldiers wear heavy uniforms, carry massive loads, and march through endless sand. Men collapse from exhaustion. Some die of thirst. When they find water, discipline disappears, and it gets worse. Bedouin raiders follow them, attacking anyone who falls behind, killing stragglers, sometimes doing it openly, just out of range, a constant reminder. This land is not theirs. When they finally reach the Nile, soldiers rush into the water in relief. Some don't come back. Crocodiles take them. Then disease spreads. Locals abandon villages, taking food with them, leaving almost nothing behind except watermelons, heavy, awkward, but sometimes the only food available. Despite everything, the army keeps moving, and eventually they meet the enemy, the Mamluks, elite warriors, fast, skilled, confident, but not prepared, not for modern artillery, not for disciplined formations designed to break cavalry charges. The result is devastating. Thousands of Mamluks fall. French losses are minimal. And then comes the moment that history remembers. The Battle of the Pyramids. Before the fight, Napoleon turns to his soldiers and says, "From the heights of these pyramids, 40 centuries are watching you." It's a powerful image, even if the pyramids were actually far in the distance. The battle ends quickly. Cairo falls. And for a brief moment, it looks like everything worked. But then reality hits again. In early August, the British fleet finally catches up. And this time, they don't miss. They destroy the French fleet completely. Just like that, Napoleon is trapped. No reinforcements, no escape, no easy way home. The Mediterranean now belongs to Britain. And Egypt becomes a cage. Even worse, the British capture French correspondence. Letters from soldiers describing how bad things really are. And one letter from Napoleon himself, furious at his wife Josephine de Beauharnais for betraying him. The British publish everything. The myth cracks. The illusion fades. Now Napoleon faces a different kind of battle. Not against armies, but against isolation, pressure, and time. And what he does next will define not just this campaign, but his entire legacy.